Welcome into the roundtable. I'm Brad Wakai. That is Tyson Gentry. Big time NFL show today, as always, reacting to what we saw on Thursday Night Football as the Ravens get it done. Bucs drop to 3-5 on the season. Then, of course, Money Makin Time. We'll have a couple different angles, maybe some futures that we might play as well, as we're kind of in this interesting market time period here. Just regarding kind of everything in the NFL, where there may be some valuable bets, but of course, we're going to talk about every single game on the board and give out our picks. But Tyson, let's just get right into it, man. Thursday Night Football, Ravens hold on to a victory, 27-22 over the Bucs. They now move to 5-3. Bucs drop to 3-5. Brady's now lost 3 in a row.
More importantly, we ended our losing streak and are now 13-6 on the season in our prop bets. We're like 12-3, or
Yep,
were we 12? Yeah,
after we had our run, yeah.
and then we went cold. We went Tom Brady style. We lost 3 in a row or whatever, 4 in a row, and yeah, we're back. So thank you to Gus Edwards. Just had to get that out of the way, man, because it feels good to be back in the winners side of things. As far as this game goes, though, first time in Tom Brady's career, 23 years, he's been 2 games under 500. How fucked up is that?
It's crazy.
For like, there's 30 teams, like, notwithstanding the Patriots, obviously, with Tom Brady, and then maybe the Steelers, like, every other fan base in professional football has felt that pain at some point in the last 23 years. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is. And we'll talk on the Bucs and as they continue to kind of tumble down the rankings and they just don't look quite right. But honestly, I thought this game was more about the Ravens. You know, they finally closed one out. And I thought, honestly, at the end there, when they kicked the field goal to make it a 2-possession game, I honestly thought Harbaugh was going to do the classic Harbaugh shit where you're up 8. Hey, if we just get a first down, though, guys, we can just take knees. No, kick the field goal and put this game out of reach. They did it. Now, still, I mean, they went up, 11 points. So, 2 scores, and it's reachable, for Brady and the Bucs. But I thought that showed growth from the Ravens, especially when you've collapsed in these late game situations so many times, especially this season, for them to kind of take a step back, but like, no, let's be smart about this. Let's take these points. Let's make this extremely hard on the other team. Let's not give an opportunity. And I thought they did a good job tonight.
Well, it showed growth from the first half when Lamar waved off special teams, and then they went for it on 4th and didn't get it. So that might have been, if they went for it and got that one, we might be talking about something else here. Harbaugh doesn't give a fuck, dude. He wants to go for it every time. He doesn't care about points. But that was good. And another thing that was good, Brad, is the roundtable tight end of the year, or tight end prospect of the year, Isaiah Likely, finally gets his time to shine, and he was a monster today.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best player on the field for that Ravens offense. Lamar was good today, I thought, honestly, and I was thinking about this during the game. Like, this feels like what his supporting cast has been for the majority of his career. Obviously, Mark Andrews is normally there, but he misses time here and there, and he wasn't the Mark Andrews that we've come to know at the beginning of Lamar's career. So for him to be able to make what he made happen with replacement level players, I mean, it might sound harsh, but it's like James Prochet. I know you love Devin Duvernay, but Devin Duvernay doesn't play from a lot of the other teams in the NFL as far as even being a wideout 3. I thought Lamar was really good, but I thought the story of the day was Isaiah Likely just doing whatever he wanted, getting open, making plays, and keeping the chains moving. There were so many 3rd and mediums, 3rd and longs that the Ravens were able to execute because, as you say, the best defense in the NFL sure doesn't look to be the best defense in the NFL, brother. Something's wrong.
No. Yeah, something's going on there. And kind of put my closing thoughts on the Ravens a bit. Yeah, I agree with you. And you text me, hey, we're seeing a star kind of come to life here in Isaiah Likely. And, I've known about him just because we follow college football, and, he made us quite a bit of money betting on Coastal Carolina over the years. And so it's good to see him take that to the next level. But honestly, the Ravens scored 3 points in the first half. They ran the ball 7 times and it wasn't effective. I was shocked when they came out with the game plan of let's just drop back and throw the football. Like, that's never how Lamar Jackson has won through the air. It's off of play action, bootlegs, deep shots, and anything across the middle. And it looked like, hey, let's just let Lamar throw. It's like, why? This is not the defense, and I'm more partial to him. I'm coming off of the best defense in the league angle on them a bit, obviously with their performance over the past few weeks. But this is still a defense that's capable, fast linebackers, a pretty good secondary, and can get after you a little bit in the passing game. just have Lamar Jackson drop back and throw the ball like he is Tom Brady. That's why they only scored 3 points, and that offense looked very, very suspect. You saw the switch coming out of halftime, immediately flipped back to, hey, let's be a power running team. Let's run the football. It got that offense in gear, and then it allowed Lamar Jackson to sit back and pick apart the defense a little bit and find Isaiah Likely and find his other receivers who are able to do well in this game and kind of win their matchups.
And I finally put my finger on it. We've been talking about what's wrong with the Bucs for, I guess, 6 weeks. We didn't get to talk about them after the debacle in Carolina and then this. But over the last 2 weeks, I think it has become pretty clear what's wrong with the Bucs, and it's that they're fucking soft. They're soft as it gets, man. I mean, we saw Devin White give up on how many plays a day? Like Levante David's not flying around like everybody is just kind of checked out. And whether that is a symptom or a side effect of Tom Brady drama, unfair or fair, however you want to put that. I mean, the team's been through a lot, but like this was a physical, dominating football team that lost all of its bite. All of it. It's gone. Nobody's scared of these guys. They're not punching anybody in the face. The Ravens said, okay, well, this isn't working. Oh, let's just bully them. And Tampa had absolutely no answer on either side of the football.
Yep. Yeah, completely agree. And it's not like this is a Ravens defense that is what it used to be either, Tyson. Like they don't go out and bully people either. And all
Chuck
of a sudden
Clark is laying people up. Like Chuck Clark is 49 years old.
And I mean, and they're pushing around that offensive line for the Bucs, which we knew was going to be suspect a bit. But again, continuing to not run the football when the Bucs have been successful and when Tom Brady's been successful, there's at least some semblance of a run game. Now, does some of that have to do with Leonard Fournette looking like he's way over the hill? Maybe, because I thought Rachaad White, honestly, when he came in, he had some pop, he had some burst, and he actually had some yards per carry, unlike Leonard Fournette. But this is a young offensive line, except for Tristan Wirfs. It's a banged up offensive line and very inexperienced, but they just continue to get pushed around. And you've noticed, like, Brady's had to go further and further back on his dropbacks if he wants to take a shot.
NCAA 14. You remember how that was?
Like, you just run around back there and just throw it.
Yep. Oh, my God, it's bad, man. And then on top of it, 2-minute drive today, or even when they're in 4-minute, Cade Otton is getting the looks. It's like Byron Leftwich went from, oh, this guy's definitely getting a head coaching job, to this guy can't even scheme open Chris Godwin. Like at the beginning of the game, it was, oh, easy, boom, 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 60 yards in the first quarter. He's in the slot. Nobody can stop him. Ravens make adjustments. All of a sudden, he's being bracketed. There's help over the top. And then it's like, okay, well, we'll just use him as a decoy, and I really hope Julio can stay healthy. That's bad, man. And on top of it, Tom Brady has to run, like scramble to run instead of scramble to find somebody to throw the ball to, because the offensive line just sucks, man. And to watch him have to throw the ball to Cade Otton, and nothing against Cade Otton. My point here is that he's a rookie tight end nonetheless, which is the position it takes the longest to kind of blossom into a good player. It's like Mike Evans has 117 yards, man. Find a way to get him the ball. Find a way to get Chris Godwin the ball, who was on pace for a 200-yard game after the first quarter. Like, don't make things harder than they need to be.
And that's how it looks for this offense, right? Like Brady looks frustrated. The receivers look frustrated. Like, how are these guys not on the same page with each other? It's the same group of offense for the past 3 years. And it's continued. Like the commentators continually say, not on the same page, not on the same page. How? It's the same offense. Like you said, there's something going on. And it's just, things just seem difficult. Like, it's like, honestly, when it was the last year of Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz, like everything just seemed like a battle and a struggle. And you're watching it and you're like getting stressed out on simple plays because it's just so, I don't know, like it's just so jumbled, or it's just, and that's what the Bucs feel like right now, where nothing seems to be going right. Everything they try to do, save for that first quarter when they look good, after that, it just, nothing would click, nothing would hit. They can't get on the same page here and there, except for one bomb down the field. And then all of a sudden it's back to struggling. And they got to figure this out quick, Tyson, because right now, like we mentioned, they're 3-5. Atlanta's leading this division at 3-4, and they have a home game against the Panthers. The Atlanta Falcons could be leading this division here. And so I want to move into money-making time. I want to move into money-making time here and kind of pose this question to you before we get into the rest of the games as a gambling angle here. So If Atlanta wins this week, they're going to be 4-4. Bucs will be sitting at 3-5. Atlanta will be a game up on Tampa.
But they got the
Right
half
now,
game tiebreaker too in the division.
right now, Tampa is minus 160 to win this division. Is that a buy point for you? That's the
No,
lowest we've even seen this.
no.
Really?
This looks bad, dude. No, I don't know if Tom Brady's gonna walk out on this team to go back to his family or whatever the hell's going on. Like this is, I think they're gonna figure it out, and I think they're gonna win the division. But like minus 160 doesn't get me excited. Like it's not a number that I'm like, oh shit, I have to go play this right now. Because to be honest, they haven't given me a reason to want to go play this. They just got basically blanked by a tanking Panthers team, and then they come out tonight and look lifeless what I felt like was as close to a must-win as you can have 8 weeks into into the season. They needed this one, and they came out on fire. It was like, okay, like the Bucs are moving the ball. This offense might figure things out. It's short week. They're going to take advantage of the defense. And then the Ravens kind of settled in, and it was like, oh, these guys suck. And they can't turn to the run game. And that's the thing that gets you out of holes. Like when the Eagles started 2-5, or look at the Bears this season, it's like, oh, we're just gonna run all over people. And if that doesn't work, we'll lose that way. But it's a lot better than losing throwing it 60 times a game. Tom Brady can throw for 300 yards and 60 times a game, and it's all good until they get inside the 20s. And this red zone offense stinks, and it's boring, and they can't run the ball, and they're about as one-dimensional as it gets in the NFL. And it's the same reason that I'm not in on the Rams right now. It's like I don't see an immediate fix for what's going on.
Yeah, and I have two more kind of future looks here on divisions I think are interesting. Right now, Seattle Seahawks are leading the NFC West right now by a half game. They're 4-3, Rams 3-3, Niners 3-4, Cardinals 3-4. This is the division odds right now in the NFC West. Niners plus 130 as the favorite, Rams plus 165, Seahawks plus 500, Cardinals plus 800. Is there a buy point at any team here? Like, do you think the Seahawks can continue this at plus 500? Interesting line there. Rams plus 165, Niners plus 130. Are any of those interest you as we sit here right now?
I would be a lot more interested in the Seahawks if I didn't think DK Metcalf was going to miss a couple weeks. I mean, this is an injury that puts guys out for routinely a month and a half, and he's not even having surgery, so maybe it's different, or maybe he's just made in the lab because he's a freak. But I think the Niners win this division. That's kind of what I've been on for the last couple of weeks, but like they just got annihilated. Matt Stafford looks like he forgot how to play football overnight. He looks like the Monstars took his powers. Sean McVay really wants to run the ball. Again, there's nobody there to run the ball. We'll see if Kareem Hunt shows up or somebody like that at the trade deadline. I think that would influence me pretty heavily in a certain direction. But like I'm not interested in the Cardinals at all because like they crapped down their leg in the second half of the season. They got that out of the way early, so they don't really have to worry about that the rest of the year. Like the Seahawks look like the most physical team in what's supposed to be the most physical division of football, which is always a good thing. But to me, the Niners would be the play there, but nothing is like compared to the value at the beginning of the season. Like the only one you're losing value on everybody. The Seahawks obviously would be one to get in on, but no DK, no money for me.
Yeah, and you're definitely losing value if you buy into the Seahawks now. But I mean, compared to what they were
If you held the ticket beforehand,
season,
you were a Seahawks fan, and that was the only reason.
Fair. I mean, for here, there's no buy on this one, plus 130. I mean, if the Niners win this weekend, they face the Rams. We'll get into that in a bit. That's going to go a little bit lower. I think they'll maybe move to a little bit shorter than plus 130. I don't think it gets all the way flipped to any minus odds here, but it would clearly favor the Niners in that situation. I think, right now, I'm going to wait till after, regarding the Bucs, I'm going to wait till after Atlanta wins, because if Atlanta plays on Sunday, because if they win, I might be a buy point on the Bucs. I think I'd take it at minus 160 right now and buy in. I don't know if it's going to get better than that. I might continue to just buy into that market until the end of the year, and I could potentially be on the hook for a bit or lose a lot. So we'll see. And last one I want to touch on here, AFC South. And I was looking at it in this way. Titans are 4-2. Their game up on the Colts, and they already beaten them twice. Colts are second right now, 3-1. Jags 2-5. And here are the odds. Tennessee's at minus 150 to win this. Colts plus 260, Jags plus 460. Now, is it a buy point right now for Tennessee? Can you see them actually legitimately running away with this division with this roster?
Yes, but I'll tell you why I'm not going to buy in right now, and that's because I'm pretty interested to see what happens with Sam Ellinger and the Indianapolis Colts. Because I think if he comes out and looks awesome, that line is not going to change more than 10 cents, right? Like that might move to like minus 160. Like it's not going to move much. If they lose, it's not going to move. If they win, it's not going to move. I think that the Titans' number here is pretty secure for the week. So I would rather wait till Sunday to see how this thing plays out. But uh, the Titans have just dominated. They big boyed them 2 times.
Yeah.
But it's what the Colts do. They find a way to play better in the second half of the season. That's a Frank Reich thing. So if anything, I want to see what happens with Sam Ellinger and maybe get it on the Colts.
Yeah, that's fair. We're already holding the Colts ticket too from the preseason. So, maybe you buy in low here now, get more value if you actually think they are the best team in that division. Titans have won 4 games in a row after starting off 0-2, man. It's just pretty interesting stuff. And Vrabel just continues to prove that he actually is an elite coach in this league. All right, so let's get into it. That's our future looks as we kind of check in here. Week 8 now on Sunday starts with an early one. Broncos, Jags over there in London. Now, Jags have made this trip. Jags are minus 2.5 point favorites. Different coaching staff, same organization over there in London. Are you doing anything here?
No, because I'm not getting up to watch the Jags play the Broncos, dude. I'm going to play it. It's at 7:30 my time. I've played the other London games, and they've been pretty fun, but I don't want to watch Russell Wilson play at 7:30 in the morning. Mike Boone goes to IR. Cortland Sutton looks like he might be a little banged up. Jerry Judy's pissed off. Like this is not a good offense, and the over/under at 39.5 is actually the most interesting thing to me here because, like the Broncos, they score 14 points a game, and they're traveling. What Russ kept everybody up on the plane for 4 out of the 8 hours doing high knees down the aisle. No, I'm not playing this game, man. I don't even want to watch this. This is if I'm in London and I want to become an NFL fan, I'm pissed. It's like we get another one of these.
Well, they love the Jags because they're there every year.
That's
so
true.
I mean, and they win every year over there. So yeah, I don't have a true play on this. I honestly, if I wake up and I feel like I want some action early, I'll probably be watching soccer on the other screen though. So that may get my juice going. I don't need to play this game. But I'd lean Jags here minus 2.5. But it's just a scary line here. I'm not quite sure. And I feel like it'd honestly be kind of crazy over there. It may be a play on over 39.5 for me, but those are my 2 leans, over and Jags minus 2.5, but no official play. Bears go to the Cowboys. This is coming off a big Sunday night football or a Monday night football win over the Patriots. Justin Fields had his best game as a pro, in my opinion. Offense looked competent. I thought the defense did a really good job. Cowboys beat the Lions. Dak Prescott looked rusty in the first half. They kind of figured it out in the second half. This is a big line here, minus 9.5. Juice kind of towards Cowboys, maybe suggesting it's up to 10. Anything for you?
I'm interested in the Bears at this number. I think that they're uniquely equipped to attack Dallas the way that the Eagles did. In the you don't actually have to block Micah Parsons. You just have to make a decision every play because Justin Fields played the best game of his career, and he threw the ball like 19 times or 20 times or whatever it was. They don't need him to throw the ball for them to be able to win by running. And I know they go out and they get Hankins to kind of try to solidify that rush defense in Dallas. I think that the Bears should be able to run the ball enough to keep this one within 2 scores. And I think this is just kind of a classic backdoor cover.
I don't have a feel on this game, really. I mean, I think the Cowboys actually do have a good defense. I'm just not sure really about this Cowboys offense right now. The Bears have a better defense than the Lions. And so, I understand Dak Prescott, maybe he could have knocked the rust off a bit. Not enough for me to even touch this big spread. I don't know if I necessarily trust the Bears enough in the spot either. Big spread coming off a big victory with a rookie head coach and, a young quarterback feels too big for me. I'm not going to play anything in this one. Now, Raiders coming off their bye week. They beat the Houston Texans soundly. Now they go into St. Louis laying 1.5 points on the road. Not St. Louis, New Orleans facing the Saints, laying 1.5 on the road. Looks like Jameis is going to be back for this one. See, reports he's not for this one. It's still Dalton. I thought they said it was Jameis.
Dalton's a starter.
Okay, so that's announced. See, my thing said they were leaning towards Jameis, so Jameis officially out. There we go.
Well,
So
I got something today that said they're going to rock with Andy Dalton until I can't remember the exact wording, but it was weird enough that it made it sound like they just want Andy Dalton to be the quarterback, which is pretty hilarious. It doesn't matter who's playing quarterback for the Saints. The Raiders are going to boat race these guys out of their own stadium, I think. Josh Jacobs looks like a top 5 running back in the NFL at this point in the season. I think that the Raiders will be able to do enough. We'll see what happens with Devontae Adams. Apparently, he has the flu. And if he's not able to go, obviously that's going to change things quite a bit. But we're still far enough away from Sunday that I imagine he'll be okay. I just think the Raiders are figuring it out slowly, and they were always the team. Even when they were sitting at 1-4, it was like they're the scariest ones. Like if they can figure this thing out, they'll make a run. They'll hit the wild card on a 7-game win streak or whatever and be scary for somebody. And I just don't think the Saints have enough firepower to take advantage of the things that the Raiders aren't very good at on defense.
Yeah, I'm leaning Raiders here. I just don't know if I can trust these guys enough coming off a victory there to go now on the road and have a performance. Like I may be talked into playing this one here, but this one scares me, man. Like we just saw the Saints just get blown out at home on Thursday Night Football. They have an extra time to prepare, and I don't know if that says too much about Dennis Allen, but they got to stay at home to prepare for this one. And now you're expecting the Raiders, a perennial underperformer, to come in and put together a road performance and win and cover. I want to take the Raiders. I may do it on Sunday. I just can't in good faith give this out right now. I want to do a little bit more look ahead on this one. So I don't have anything officially right now. I don't have a lot of plays right now so far. That's honestly a slate that kind of doesn't really get me going too much in this one. As of now, as we're recording this after the Thursday Night Football game. Here's an interesting one. Now, Panthers are going to Atlanta. Atlanta, 4-point favorite. Panthers coming off a big victory over the Bucs. We seemingly thought the Panthers were dead. This game opened at 4.5, and it's been bet down Panthers +4. Apparently, the Sharps are absolutely all over the Panthers in this situation. I don't quite know about this one. What do you think?
Panthers played their Super Bowl last week. Their season's done. Like that is what it is. They played their Super Bowl. They went out. They won a game nobody in the world thought they were going to win. They were 2 touchdown underdogs. They beat Tom Brady. Is a huge deal. There's still talent devoid everywhere. I think that the Falcons are better, and I think they should be able to cover. This is one I'm going to have to get more into. I think the Falcons win this game, so maybe a money line play at minus. I think it's 198 or whatever right now. Well, it might be better, but. Like, to me, this is the classic overreaction in the NFL where it's like somebody got out of bed and they played their best game of the season, and now that's what we're expecting going forward. And it kind of feels like people are still like, well, the Falcons, same thing with the Giants. It's like, well, the Falcons are going to go back to being the Falcons eventually. We're halfway into the season. This might just be who they are.
Yeah, that's interesting. And PJ Walker's still the quarterback and still – it's still an interim coach here. This might be my first play. I'm going to take Falcons team total over 22.5. I know the Panthers defense just held the Bucs to 3 points, but that is not a potent offense right now. I don't think you can take too much out of that one. And let's be honest, that first drive, Evans just dropped the ball that he was wide open on, which would have been like a 50-yard touchdown bomb. 75 completely. That would have completely changed the game, and maybe we're looking at completely different here. I don't know if I have the stones enough to play the Falcons -4 right now. I'm definitely locking this one at 22.5. I love this team total over. This offense just flat out scores points, and 3 touchdowns and a field goal. I think the Falcons can definitely do that against this team. I think they're going to get a lot of possessions in this one too, even with PJ Walker on the other sideline. Steelers, Battle of Pennsylvania. Steelers visiting Philly to take on the Eagles coming off a bye. Steelers has played on Monday Night Football. Short week here. Eagles -10.5. Big number on the board here. Anything you're doing?
Well, Philly's going to win the game, I think. I think the one that I'm most interested in and one that I will be playing is the second quarter total for this game is at an even 13. That's minus 104 for the over there. And the Eagles are scoring more than 13 points in the second quarter by themselves. The Steelers are struggling mightily to get after the passer, which means Jalen Hurts should be able to settle in. Lane Johnson's back at right tackle for the Eagles, which honestly completely changes the way that they can attack you. He's the most underrated football player in the NFL and has been for quite a while. I just think the Eagles are going to score 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. All of a sudden, we're at 14. Boom, that one hits. We're close to plus money there. And if you're going to play that, you might as well be looking at the Eagles' second quarter spread minus 3.5. That's a quarter that they're like plus, what are they, plus 80 or some plus
It's
120
crazy.
or something ridiculous like that. They're the best second quarter teams for this many games in the history of the NFL. And they're playing against a either a rookie Kenny Pickett or a Mitchell Trubisky, and both of those guys are going to be happy feet in the pocket, getting scared. Najee Harris isn't going to win the game for Pittsburgh. It's going to be short fields for Philadelphia, and I think that the Eagles should be able to cruise early in this one.
Yep, I'm with you there. That's why I'm going to take Eagles first half minus 6.5. They're undefeated on the season in the first half against the spread. It's too big of a number for me to play full game here.
Yeah, that's
We
great.
know the Eagles. We know the Eagles take their foot off the gas in the second half, and the Steelers seemingly never get blown out. Like they were on the ropes on Monday night against the Dolphins. They just continue to play. It's a motivation thing with Mike Tomlin. He does a really good job at getting his guys motivated and letting his coaches make adjustments here. But I'm going to take Eagles first half minus 6.5. I think the addition of Robert Quinn, getting him kind of lets refocus the team in a bit. I think where, hey, we have bigger goals than staying undefeated here. We want to play for that Super Bowl. I think maybe coming off the bye, if there was no acquisitions, you kind of, hey, we're undefeated. We got the bye week, come out of it. Maybe you sleepwalk a little bit here. I think that refocuses them. They're going to come out hot, try to get up early again, and come out and make a statement like, hey, we're still the Eagles. We're here to roll. So Eagles minus 6.5 in the first half is my play in this one. Dolphins minus 3.5 on the road at Detroit. Interesting line. Anything you like in this one?
I like the Dolphins to cover, and I like the over at
You
51 and a
combining
half.
those?
I am, and that turns that into plus 234.
Okay.
I think the Dolphins are good enough to win this game by 2 touchdowns if they need to, but weird shit happens in Detroit in the early window in the dome. I just like the they are not going to be able to stop Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the outside. And honestly, Miami's defense has left a lot to be desired this year. They weren't exactly exposed a week ago uh, against the same Steelers team we were just talking about that doesn't exactly move the ball like a bunch of gangbusters. But the Lions offense looked bad against Dallas. Dallas's defense is really good. Miami's not getting after Jared Goff the way that Dallas just did. I think that the over hits, and I think that the Dolphins are able to maybe put up something like 30 points in the first 3 quarters. And then it's just going to be a classic fourth quarter, in my opinion, where the Lions put up 3 touchdowns and the Dolphins have to go down and score a touchdown to cover this thing. But I'm feeling good.
I'm with you on the over. I like over 51.5. Similar things to what you said. The Lions defense, I thought they did a good job coming off the bye against the Cowboys. But again, that's against a rusty Dak Prescott, and they couldn't get off the field when they needed to. This is a different animal with different speed to his back. I think, how the Dolphins looked that first quarter, they look sharp. Adjustments were made by the Steelers. I don't think the Lions really have the brain trust on that sideline like the Steelers do to make adjustments. And it's just another week back of football for Tua. And on the other side, the Lions offense started off really hot and it's gone downhill with these injuries. I expect them to be a lot better this week and make adjustments against a team. The Dolphins are banged up as well, kind of across the board. Lions should be able to score some points in this one. So I like over 51.5. I'm with you on that one. Now, here we go. Cardinals at Vikings. Vikings laying 3.5 at home. Vikings coming off a bye. Cardinals coming off that big Thursday night football win over the Saints. You playing anything here?
I am not. And this feels like one that's going to be the records don't say it, but this is the Spider-Man meme, brother. 2 teams pointing at each other. It's like we know what we're getting from the offenses for the most part, week in and week out. We're getting a better idea of what we're getting from the defenses. It's not exactly crazy to picture the Cardinals offense playing in the dome in Minnesota because we get to watch them play in a dome every Sunday that they're at home anyways. I think if anything, you'd be looking at the over here, but I don't trust either offense enough. So that would be a lean, but I don't have an official play.
I'm going to roll the dice on the Cardinals plus 3.5 here.
Feels like they should win the game.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you, if the Cardinals won this game. Listen, this is a different football team with DeAndre Hopkins. It just is. The offense is way more dynamic. It opens everything up. The dude is just that good, and you can see the difference. Kyler Murray trusts him a lot more and just makes things easier for Cliff Kingsbury. And I know the Vikings are coming off a bye, but it's a rookie head coach in Kevin O'Connell. We don't really know the history with a rookie head coach of that, of his magnitude, or how he's going to kind of, tweak things, make improvements, make adjustments. How do they look coming off a bye? Maybe they come out a little bit flat compared to a Cardinals team playing a Thursday night football game. Kind of negates that rest advantage a little bit in a way. 14 days off compared to 11 days off. I'm going to take Cardinals with the hook here at 3.5 on the road. This is my play of the week in this next one here, but New England Patriots are minus 2.5 on the road at the Jets. No Breece Hall. Absolutely banged up offensive line for the Jets coming off a big victory over in Denver. Patriots coming off that loss on Monday night. You doing anything here?
I'm not, and it's the same. It's a rule that I have for everybody. When the number one difference maker goes down, then I got to give it a week before I can be comfortable. And I think Breece Hall he's been the Jets' offensive MVP through this run. They start 0-2?
1-1
no,
they went
1-1.
They got getting their ass kicked against the Browns and won that game.
Gotcha. Feels like a game that people are kind of overrating Mac Jones' impact on the Patriots offense. So we'll see how that goes. I'm curious to see what your play of the week is, but I'm not touching it just because Breece Hall has been the engine that is driving the Jets right now. And first game without him, I got to see that offense.
What do you think? What do you think my play of the week is?
I'd imagine it's Jets plus 2.5.
Other way, I'm going Patriots minus 2.5 as my play of the week. Last 4 play of the weeks are undefeated, so I'm hoping to keep this one rolling here. And it's simple here, and I love it at 2.5 because Belichick couldn't figure out Justin Fields, and we know Belichick is great against young quarterbacks. Like, he confuses them. He makes the game so difficult. I think he's going to go into this one. He's going to take out his frustrations on Zach Wilson. Without the guy that you can just turn around and hand the ball off.
Yeah, but they don't throw the ball.
Well, they're going to have to because you don't have Breece Hall. Like, Michael Carter is not Breece Hall. Like, when Breece Hall started, they actually started playing him, this Jets offense was legitimately explosive. And before that, when it was just Flacco, it was like, oh boy, another year of Jets football. Breece Hall comes in, you're like, holy shit, this team can go down the field. They lose a huge, they can't just go ahead and turn around and hand the ball off. Like, they don't have that luxury anymore. They're going to be forced to throw the football. I think the Patriots can capitalize on that. And on the flip side, the offense is going to look better this week than last week. It just is. I just have confidence in Belichick to be able to make adjustments against a Jets team and a Jets defense I still think has question marks and holes in it, even though Sauce Gardner is awesome. Honestly, this might just be a Mac Jones throws the ball 15 times and they just pound it with Stevenson and Harris. It just has that feel to me. I love Patriots minus 2.5 this week.
How much does James Robinson play?
They said he's going to be worked into the offense, so I don't think it's that much, just based on what the coaches said.
What do you think when Michael Carter has 8 carries for 9 yards? Do you think then James Robinson there's no working in to be done?
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. You feel like you could just tell him, just turn around and be like, hey, hit this gap, hit this gap.
That's but I mean, it's probably a lot more complicated than that. But when it's a guy like J-Rob, you feel like you should just be able to be like, hey, dude, it's inside zone. Just read the hole and go.
Right. So Patriots minus 2.5, my play of the week. Titans minus 2.5 on the road at the Texans. Now, there's some questions surrounding Ryan Tannehill. This line suggests it's some in-between line because this would be a lot bigger if you know for sure that Tannehill is going to play. I think it opened at 1.5 Tennessee, just completely due to those question marks starting to creep up a bit here. You liking anything that you're going to play in this one?
No, but this will be a game where I have a notepad and a pen in front of me because it looks like Malik Willis will be starting the game. He's been taking reps with the first team the last 2 days at practice, which is huge, right? We get to see what the kid has. Where at this point last year in the NFL or in college football season, it was like, oh, Malik Willis might go top 5. Like, I don't know, this guy's electric. And then the rest of the season happened, and he wasn't great at the combine, and he didn't wow teams, and he ends up going second round. Was it second or third round that he went to
Third
the
round.
Titans? Yeah,
Third
third.
round.
Okay, third round of the Titans. I'm very, very interested to see what he has. And to be honest, I don't think it can be much worse through the air because there's still nobody to throw the damn football to. I'm staying away from this one. I think the Titans should be able to win this game by a field goal, even with you playing quarterback.
Ha!
Just based on that Texans defense, this might be a big King Henry day.
And he just tortures the Texans.
Yeah,
like historically, Derrick Henry owns the Texans, so it's going to be a lot of Derrick Henry in this one. If Willis starts, I may have to take a bet on the Texans money line. Just take roll the dice on that. He got benched in the preseason because he wouldn't run the offense. Like, he wouldn't throw the ball in their system. He just would take off and run. That seems to suggest to me he doesn't have a grasp on this. Now, again, that's preseason, but now I understand he's been practicing, but now you get thrown into a live football game during the NFL year. I don't know, man. What's that line going to be if he's announced? Do the Texans go to a favorite? No way, right?
No, they can't. There's no. I don't know. I mean, I'm the biggest Davis Mills defender in the world, but I don't think that he's the name that's going to make people be like, oh shit, they're losing to the Texans this week.
Yeah. Oh my God, man. So I'm going to keep an eye on that one. If it's Willis, I'm taking Texans money line just to see what happens there. Here's an interesting game. Giants at Seattle. Seattle 3-point favorites. The Giants have been an absolute pain in my ass. Are you playing anything?
I mean, I kind of want to play Giants money line, but that's more of a lean than anything. If DK doesn't play, if that's announced, then I'll probably be locking that one in. This is one where I am hoping that I get some specials that pop up. Saquon Barkley and Kenneth Walker to combine for 200 plus rushing yards and 2+ rushing touchdowns, something like that. I think that's going to be the show. Obviously, the Giants trade Kadarius Toney. We would talk about that more, but he doesn't play football. He just raps and then shows up to every third game, plays 3 snaps, and heads on back to the locker room. I mean, this is the only battle between winning teams this week, which is nuts.
Well, Kadarius Toney's now in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's got to feel good for him.
Yeah, it's got to feel good for Kansas City, I'm sure, too. Dude. He's probably going to be in next Pro Bowler for him with that.
Has there ever been a hype train like Sky Moore's that's been derailed outside? No. Like, it wasn't even his own doing. It was like he barely gets to play, and then they just go out and get somebody else. It's like, we didn't even get to see the guy wore.
I know. It's honestly because he's wearing number 24 and he's a receiver. Yeah, I think that was his own undoing. Now, I've been... Like I said, Giants have been a pain in my ass. I've been betting against them all season, and I really want to do it again here because the Giants just been in so many close games. It's got to wear on them, and now they got to go back to the West Coast. Like, come on. This has to end sometime, please. Like, they're not a good football team. I really want to take the Seahawks -2.5 at -136 as an alt line just to get under this 3 number, that key number. So I might do it. I think it might get there anyway if Metcalf gets announced out. And if it does, I'm gonna fucking play the Seahawks, dude. I'm just gonna bet them until the wheels fall off on this Giants team. Like, I just can't handle it. Seeing the Giants continue to win these games that they should.
It hasn't dawned on you that maybe they keep winning because you're betting against them. Like, they're all rallying against you.
No, that's why. Like, that's why it's pissing me off. Because if I bet on the Giants, they wouldn't have a win this year.
Take a look at that Eagles jersey in the background and start putting money on the damn Giants to win football games so the Eagles can get some leg up in the division here.
You're right. I should do that. I'm being selfish. That's on me, honestly. That's on me.
Somebody call Howie.
All right, next game on the board, Commanders at Colts. You alluded to it. Sam Ehlinger going to get the start over the benched Matt Ryan. Taylor Heineke going to be starting for the Commanders. Interesting line here. You playing anything?
No.
No,
I'm not. I mean, how the hell am I supposed to know what this Colts offense is going to look like with Sam Ehlinger in there? I am thinking with Alec Pierce eating with Matt Ryan, he had more time with Sam Ehlinger in preseason, OTAs, all that stuff. So I think there might be some connection there. No, I mean, it's different than when Taylor Heineke came in because we've seen him play for the Commanders, right? So that was like, oh, they have a real shot to beat the Packers this week. The Packers are bad. I've never seen Sam Ehlinger play a meaningful NFL game, let alone one that if the Titans win early in the day, and then this is on, all of a sudden there's a lot more pressure, right? And they already announced they're sticking with him for the rest of the season, which by
Oh,
the
yeah,
way was
baby.
the stupidest thing you could do. Like you said it already. What happens if he sucks?
Well, Matt Ryan's got that hurt shoulder. Remember, he's hurt.
Matt can throw it left-handed, same zip.
Well, that's funny you say. I'm going Colts minus 2.5. I'm buying it down minus 128 on this alt line here. This is my handicap on this. Colts play really well at home, except for when they play the Titans for some weird reason, I guess, this season. Normally they hammer the Titans and they just can't do it the past couple of years. But I'm believing in Ehlinger in this regard. I think his mobility is going to help this offense out. The offensive line has been disappointing. I think the immobility of Matt Ryan really came into fruition because of that. He was thrown off his spot. He's has to set his feet and throw type of passer. And when he was able to do that, the offense looked better. I think they're going to use the Ehlinger mobility aspect a lot more, move the pocket a lot, get things out in space, be able to have a little bit more of a dynamic read option type of game with Jonathan Taylor, which I think will actually help that run game a bit more and get it going. I'm going to take a shot here. Colts minus 2.5. The defense has been playing better. I don't believe in Heineke. I don't care the whole he's a winner thing surround them. Bullshit. Colts are going to win this football game, and they're going to cover this 2.5 number. I like Colts to get it done at home and kind of get this thing going under the new boy saying Colts are back.
So the real over-under play here is how many times the announcers say RPO during the game.
Yes. I wish that was a non-Super Bowl prop we could bet every week. All right, Niners minus 1.5 on the road at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams coming off of a bye. Niners just got absolutely destroyed by the Chiefs. Defense is super banged up. We know that. Offense looked very vulnerable, but when you're having to play from behind the entire game, you're one-dimensional with Jimmy Garoppolo. Things are going to happen. You like anything in this one?
Well, we've been doing this together for quite a while now. How many times have I bet on Sean McVay to beat Kyle Shanahan?
You have never bet on Sean McVay to beat Kyle Shanahan.
And how many times have I been wrong?
I think 0 times.
In the regular season. I was
in the regular season, right.
But
you got to throw that one in there, right?
It's been one. So I'm rocking with the 49ers, man. Something about the way Kyle Shanahan is able to prepare for Sean McVay. These little brothers every time is what it feels like. And I know that one of them has a ring and the other one doesn't. But Kyle Shanahan in the regular season owns Sean McVay. This is a Niners team that needs a win. I know the Rams are coming off of a bye, and they needed to get healthy. We'll see how they look. But Darrell Henderson looks like he got banged up in practice this week. If they're already not going to use Cam Akers, and then we have Sean McVay talking about how good Kyron Williams looked.
Yeah.
Brad, how many minutes have we watched Kyron Williams play in college football?
I loved him his freshman year at Notre Dame, though. I will say he was a stud.
That's what I'm saying.
But he's tiny.
It was a lot of them. And not one time did I think, damn, that guy could take over an NFL backfield. It was always like, oh, best case scenario, he could be like Darrell Henderson. And 2 Darrell Hendersons isn't enough to carry the game, man. I mean, I think another week of Christian McCaffrey getting integrated in the offense. I think the Niners are more physical. The Chiefs were able to embarrass that defense, and they were able to do it in a way that, frankly, the Rams can't. They just can't. And so I like the 49ers here. It's a away game on schedule only, but it'll be more Niners fans in that place than Rams for sure.
Now, it scares me and it pains me to do this, but we got to go mano-a-mano here. And it's your love for Shanahan versus my love for McVay. It's been the underlying little theme on the show when these two match up. I'm a McVay guy. You're a Shanahan guy. It's just a way of life. And I've gotten my ass kicked in the regular season and these. And I was vindicated in the playoffs. This is another regular season game here. I'm just happy it's coming off a bye. McVay is really good coming off of a bye. Extremely good. Andy Reid level good. Mike Vrabel level good too, who's undefeated off buys. It's just this is the play for me. It's the bye factor that I think this offense is going to be able to do more things. It's not just going to be Stafford was injured in the preseason. I only have a true connection with Cooper Kupp. think he's going to be able to work in Allen Robinson. And the previous week when they played before the bye, Allen Robinson was a lot more effective in this offense, targeted a lot more, and had a much bigger game. So I'm going to go Rams plus 1.5 here. I'm going to go mano-a-mano against you, Tyson. We may have to do a side bet here.
I had to count that out, but that is now officially the 8th week in a row you've talked yourself into a big Allen Robinson game.
I know, dude. It's it's bad. It's the two things that I'm like super like I need to be right on at least one time is Giants lose and don't cover, and that Allen Robinson has a big game. It just needs to happen one time.
Nebraska football.
And Nebraska football. What an idiot I am. Sunday night game, Packers at Bills. Bills 10.5-point favorites, the biggest underdog Aaron Rodgers has ever been in his career. Apparently, Allen Lazard is not going to play, the number one receiver on that Packers offense. Randall Cobb's on the IR. Now, Sammy Watkins did return last week, but, I mean, this Bills team looks like an absolute juggernaut. This is a huge number. Are you playing anything here?
Yeah, it's a huge number, and it should be higher. Bills minus 10.5.
Woo!
I think this is an old Yeller game for the Green Bay Packers.
Man.
I think they're going out behind the shed, and Josh Allen's going to have to do something to him, man. The Packers are not explosive enough to keep up with this Bills offense. There is nothing that they can do short of 8-minute drives over and over and over again. And to be able to do that, you have to be able to run the football. Aaron Jones isn't the guy to sustain 8-minute drives. A.J. Dillon doesn't get the damn ball. So where are we at? It's Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball to Romeo Doubs, Randall Cobb, Robert Tonyan, like Aaron Jones out of the backfield, A.J. Dillon. Are these names that sound like Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis and Josh Allen? And like Aaron Rodgers has been under pressure more than he ever has in his career. It feels like that offensive line is the worst it's been in a long time. And the Bills get after the passer at a pretty insane rate. The linebackers are speedy. They cover everybody. Trey White's not playing. Doesn't matter. Bill's going to take these boys out back.
I love it. I absolutely love that. That is that is some confidence right there. Even with that big hook, primetime dogs have been killing it. Tyson doesn't give a shit. He's rolling with the boys. I'm taking the first half over 23.5 here. We know what the Bills do in the first half. They come out, they hit you right in the mouth, and they don't care. They run the score up. I think, it's 30.5 on the full game team total for the Bills, which is insane. But the Packers are normally good in the first half. They look sharp. They look engaged. They look like they actually want to play football. It's the second half that kind of comes to bite them in the ass here. So I'm going to play over 23.5 here because I think the Packers are going to be the most focused they've been all season. They know their backs are against the wall. They need to show up with their performance here, and it's primetime Aaron Rodgers. Bills on the other side are like, hey, guys, we were on a bye last week. They're going to have some shit up their sleeve. They want to show off. Oh, you thought Kansas City looked good blowing out the Niners last week? Hey, this is what we do here. And I agree with you. They could potentially blow the doors off the Packers in this one. And it just got to feel so sweet for the Bills to stomp out royalty too. Everybody makes fun of the Bills. If they won a Super Bowl, maybe we look at the Bills, but they lost 4 in a row and they're the laughingstock, right? How sweet would it be for the Bills just to stomp out the Packers on Sunday Night Football? So I think they're going to try to come out with a statement. I like first half over 23.5 in this one. And then the final play of the week, Monday Night Football, Bengals minus 3.5 on the road at Cleveland. Just announced Jamar Chase heading to the IR with a hip injury, out 4 to 6 weeks. Tyson has a potential little rumor here that he may be done for the year if he wants to touch on that. But interesting game, right? Browns are starting to flail.
So it's legit. It's totally
yeah. Browns starting to flail. Bengals going in the opposite direction, starting to figure this offense out. Losing Chase hurts, but they primarily are lining up in shotgun, throwing the football, letting Jamar do letting Burrow do what he does best. You play anything in this one?
You know what I'm playing in this one, and that will be in the chalkboard. Monday during the day, we will put our player prop in there, and that's all you're going to get from me because we're going to keep hitting these things and rolling them up, brother.
Yep, I'm not touching anything in this one either. This is too scary for me, especially with that hook. Cleveland at home, division dog on a prime. I don't know, but I don't know if I have the stones to bet Cleveland. That's the only thing. That's the problem here. So that's all. That's it, man. I'm riding with you on the player prop, and we'll have something to play for. Check us out in the chalkboard. All of these picks will be in there that we rolled through. So if you missed any of that, Make sure to join our chalkboard. Link in the bio as we close out Money Making Time here. NBA, NCAA football, NHL, it's all in there. Tyson's UFC stuff, my soccer stuff that's going in there as we get, club season more ramped up. We got World Cup
We're about to
in 2 weeks.
Start racking up some PGA stuff in there too.
Golf. Join the chalkboard. It's in the link. If you're listening on Apple, it's in the link. Spotify, it's in the link. And if you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the link to this show. It's an app. Click it.
The freest money in all of sports betting is about to come back, and that's early season college basketball, where these lines just suck. And if you watched these teams in the year before, you have a pretty good idea of who's going to start out 10-0. Brad and I are addicted. We're sickos, and so let's just run a couple. It's a wagon, man. We're just gonna get paid.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. 7 days. Ooh, early basketball season. We have the tournaments. Oh boy. It's going to be a good time. So, as always, we appreciate you guys watching. Please like the show, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, share the show with your friends, with your family. We really appreciate all your support. Connect with us on our social media pages. Instagram @_the_roundtable_pod_. Our TikTok is the same handle, and our Twitter is @TRT_pod. We appreciate you all. We'll be back after the Monday Night Football game. So until then, guys, peace.